All right, good morning. We'll go ahead and get started. Injury update. Two guys won't practice today that practiced yesterday. L.A. Waddle, he's got a quad, and then E.J. Gaines with a groin hip area injury yesterday. So with that, I'll open it up to your questions.
Way too close here.
Wait, we're too close?
Hey, look, offensive line is starting to be a concern now. You've got guys dropping. That's 4 that are down right now. Getting to the point where you're worried, especially going into the first game here.
Yeah, I mean it's like I told you before. It's always a concern when guys are out. They're missing time. That said, we've got to continue to move forward and find a way to manage the reps. That's probably the biggest thing is going into the game is how we kind of allocate reps and throughout the numbers there with the 2s and 3s. But hey, we'll find a way.
What led behind the decision to slide forward inside? Was that purely because of the injuries and how they started them out, or is that something you guys kind of planned on?
Yeah, a little bit of both, and I really appreciate his attitude and his mindset with it. Really, to me, personifies who we're becoming as a team and the way he was unselfish with it and his approach to it. So I love that. He put the team first, and we're just looking at things this time of year and trying to put the best 5 on the field.
You mentioned his mindset. Is it something that he kind of views himself as a right tackle, or is that something that you guys talked about with him at the beginning process? Like, hey, it could be either way.
No, I think he knows it. I think all of our guys know that they're just trying to get on the field to help the team.
Coach, with respect to all the changes on the offensive line, talking to the players, they don't feel it's affected their execution, fluidity of play. But from a coaching perspective, how might it have made the task of evaluating the combinations that you're trying to find more difficult for you guys from the eval standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is evaluate the combinations that are out there. That's really what we do, Chris, and can't evaluate the combinations that aren't out there because those are hypotheticals at this point, and that's not healthy. So those guys that are out there are battling their butts off. Like I mentioned about the tight end group in the stadium the other night, I love the mental toughness, physical toughness of the guys that are out there because some of those guys are double dipping with reps, and that's not easy to do this time in training camp.
Speaking of those tight ends, what about Patrick? He's kind of flashed here the last couple of days with the opportunities that he's had.
Yeah, I mean, you look back at, like I've said before, some of the signings are more celebrated than others. At the end of the day, it's always interesting to see which ones are the ones that turn out to be the pivotal ones, and whether that turns out to be the case in this situation remains to be seen. But I do like the way he's approached camp. He's approached every day with a good attitude, positive energy, and like he's thankful to be here.
What is the impact of those injuries on the opportunity to build some continuity on that offensive line?
Yeah, that's the challenge is continuity, and that's been the challenge. It was the challenge back in the spring, and but we'll find a way. That's what we're here for, and all we can do is build continuity with the guys we've got that are out there, and the guys that aren't out there need to continue to control what they can control, and that's to get healthy and get out there as soon as they can.
Sean, just to housekeeping, all the guys that didn't practice yesterday, do they remain out for today?
Yeah, I mean there will be a couple guys in limited that were out yesterday maybe, but it'll just be as a as tolerated type of move. There's a couple of them in there, and they'll go through some individual kind of on a rep-to-rep basis at this point. Offhand, I think one of them Spence, but you'll see out there. Yeah.
Coach, Ed Oliver ran with the ones a lot yesterday. How did you feel he acclimated, and just overall, the defensive line has to gel as well. Everybody has certain jobs. How do you feel that went?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Certainly when I asked Ed afterwards, which I appreciate, he didn't like everything that went on in practice, but that's good. That's the growth mindset we talk about, and none of us are finished products. We have to continue to develop, continue to evolve, and there was some good in there, but at the end of the day, this is the time of year we can look at that and see what he looks like out there. Continuity on the defensive line, as was mentioned, and I love how hard he plays, his competitive nature, and I think that it raises everyone's game when we move pieces in and out.
What went into the decision to run sprints at the end of practice yesterday?
Just getting us ready. That wasn't punishment. It's just getting us ready. Everything we do as we talk as a team is to get us ready for the season. So it's part of building our football team.
Coach, what have you seen from Sweeney so far, and did his college numbers kind of maybe mask his abilities as a receiver?
I don't know as much of that as I just think he's a good football player. You know, he was at the Senior Bowl, and we're out there watching as a staff, and had the opportunity to go down there and saw a similar guy to what we're seeing here. You know, and he's extremely smart, goes about his business the right way, does what he's asked to do, does his job, and really the other night the big play he made on what was the 4-minute was just him doing his job, and that's what we continue to try and impress on the team is, hey, do your job and do it well.
Sean, given all the injuries you're dealing with on offense, what do you make of? Is it nice to have the receiver core like intact pretty much, and how have you seen that group develop chemistry? Develop that chemistry.
Yeah, I thought that they had a better day yesterday than I had noticed in the previous day or two before that. I liked the attitude yesterday. I think we're again trying to continue to establish time on task with that unit as well, and with Cole and with John. So we just have to continue to work, and good things happen when you work hard.
Hey Sean, just from an outsider's perspective, defense always is ahead of offense in training camp, especially early. But now that we're 10 days in, it looks like the defense is still way ahead of the offense. Is that starting to concern you? I mean, I know you love defense, but is your offense maybe not getting to the point where you thought it might be in 10 days in here?
I do like where the defense is. That said, we still have a lot of work to do. It's really early in camp, and to your point, that tends to be the case where just from a timing standpoint, even with an offense that maybe had been together the year before, in this case ours hasn't been together, but at the end of the day we got to continue to move forward and build, and that's what training camp is for, is building and developing, finding the strengths of the players and putting them in position to make plays and building the system around those strengths. And so I did like, even though on the surface the result was what it was yesterday at practice, I thought there was small victories in throughout practice on the offensive side. I saw mental toughness. So what we've got to do is just do our job. All of us got to do our job even more and better, and continue to understand what our job is and what our roles are.
Coach Farwell was speaking about Patrick Marco and how much he contributes on special teams, but also he's on the field a lot on offense and he moves around a lot. Is he a guy that is, maybe people don't realize he has a little bit more position flexibility that you like, obviously, and you can move him around a little bit?
Yeah, smart. Pat's a smart player, one of our leaders. He knows he's been on good teams before and played in big games, and that brings a lot to the table for us. And so really appreciative of what he does and his steadiness throughout the course of camp to this point. We just got to make sure that for our overall offense, and Pat in this case, we continue to build on what we've done.
Coach, you talked a lot about the development of this team, but there are a couple guys on here that have a non-traditional route to the NFL. Duke Williams coming from the CFL, Christian Wade never even playing professional football. How much higher does the learning curve have to be for those types of guys coming into a setting like this?
Oh man, I mean, they're coming from, in particular in Christian's case, he's coming from it'd be like any one of us going over to where he's from and trying to play the game that he grew up playing. It's just, I have great appreciation for what he's trying to accomplish here, and the attitude hasn't changed. And I mentioned this early in the process with his attitude, his energy, his smile. He's got great joy, and I think that's infectious. I think it affects our team, and I think it's for the better.
What have you thought about Josh's play in the last few practices, and how has he handled all the injuries on the offensive lines? That must be something he's dealing with as well.
Yeah, Josh. I think one of the things about Josh is that he's unfazed by some of that. I'm sure he's aware of it, but he's a mentally tough guy that competes, and he's focused on himself, growing each and every day, each and every rep, and that's what he needs to be doing right now. And so, he'll continue to grow and evolve, and his leadership influence will continue to grow and evolve, and that's good for us.
Two more, please. What kind of training camp has Shaq Lawson had so far?
Yeah, he's had a good camp. Love his energy. You guys saw. I know some of it went out there nationally. Some of the footage of those guys out there having fun yesterday, and that's part of showing their true personality, and that's healthy. That's good for us. Guys need to know they can come to Buffalo and feel good about being themselves, and showing us who they really are, because that's part of becoming the best version of yourself, is when you can be yourself. And that's what I saw yesterday. Shaq was in the middle of that dance line. I'm not sure about some of the moves. Maybe he was working in there, but I will try and unpack those at another time.
Sean, how big of a difference is it having Matt Barkley in his role compared to what last year in the competitive circumstances for quarterback? But having Matt here whole off season from last year in his role behind Josh.
Yeah, I would say stability. I know the word continuity continues to come up. In this case, I think continuity at the quarterback position. It's a lot. I mean, our situation with Josh and with Matt it's a lot more clear at this point. A lot more clear at this point than what it was last year at this time. And those two have developed a nice relationship, Josh and Matt. So they like to joke around and things like that, which is good and keeps it light, keeps it fun, and yet when it's time to work, they work. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.